All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today we're exploring the life of a commercial airline pilot.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you see them walking through the airport and boarding the plane looking all calm and collected.
Right.
But what's their day really like?
Exactly. What's going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, what does it take to actually get a flight safely in the air?
Well, it's more than most people realize, that's for sure.
I bet.
We're going to be looking at a day in the life of a commercial airline pilot.
Cool.
We're going to be following Captain James Carter through a typical day.
Nice.
And let me tell you, it's not your average 9-to-5 job.
So, no, I wouldn't imagine so. No way. Spill the beans. What time does this guy even wake up?
Okay, get ready for this. 4:30 a.m.
Whoa.
Most of us are hitting snooze at that time.
Yeah.
But Captain Carter is already up.
Wow.
He's reviewing flight plans, he's checking for updates, he's getting in uniform.
So, like, that's commitment.
Right.
That's dedication.
Before most of us are even thinking about waking up.
That's how they get those flights up in the air.
Right, yeah.
That's wild. 4:30 a.m. I'm barely a person at 8.
Uh-huh.
So what happens after this pre-dawn wake-up call?
Well, it's not just getting dressed and grabbing a coffee, no.
Okay.
There's a pre-flight briefing that happens before they even step foot on a plane.
Oh, okay.
Captain Carter, he meets up with his co-pilot and the crew.
Uh-huh.
They go over everything. I mean, everything.
Okay.
From the weather reports to potential turbulent zones. I mean, they even talk about rough air that they anticipate near JFK.
Really?
Yeah, they're super proactive.
Wow, so it's a real team effort.
Absolutely. It's all about teamwork.
Much more than I realized.
Yeah, communication is key in this job.
That makes sense.
And those briefings go beyond just talking about the weather. They're
Right.
looking at, jet streams and wind shear, all these
Right.
things that can affect flight times and fuel efficiency.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it's about optimizing, the safest and fastest path through the air.
So it's not even just about avoiding storms. It's about using the weather to their advantage.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, what about the plane itself? There must be some pretty serious checks before anyone even steps on board.
Oh, absolutely. So Captain Carter, he does a thorough walk around of the entire Boeing 787.
Wow.
He checks the landing gear, the fuel levels, I mean, everything.
Wow, the whole 9 yards?
Yeah.
Okay, then what?
And then inside the cockpit, there's a detailed pre-flight checklist.
Oh,
Covers things like fuel levels again,
okay.
autopilot, navigation systems, you name it.
So this is a serious checklist.
Oh, absolutely.
This isn't like a sticky note on the dashboard, is it?
No, nothing like that.
Oh, okay.
We're talking highly detailed procedures. I mean,
Okay.
for instance, one thing they check is the TCS.
DCAS.
Yeah, it's the traffic collision avoidance system,
Right.
which, helps prevent mid-air collisions, so super important.
Yeah.
So it's a reminder that even with all this automation, the pilots are still, constantly monitoring all these systems.
Keep us safe.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so we can probably agree that pre-flight checks are pretty important.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But what would you say is the most crucial skill for a pilot once they're actually in the air?
Well, pre-flight checks are essential.
Yeah.
I'd say a pilot's ability to adapt to anything unexpected that happens in flight, that's even more important.
In flight.
Yeah, I mean, they're dealing with this complex machine
Right.
in an environment that is just constantly changing.
It's not like driving a car. It's a very dynamic environment.
Exactly, not static at all.
Wow.
And need to be able to think quickly and make decisions,
It's split-second decision.
Yeah, on the spot.
Okay, so let's get this plane in the air.
All right.
We're in the cockpit with Captain Carter.
Okay.
Those engines are roaring to life.
Yeah.
You're accelerating down the runway.
Ooh.
Talk about an adrenaline rush.
It's definitely a powerful experience. But for the pilots, it's all about control
Okay.
and precision.
Right.
And as soon as they're airborne, they're constantly monitoring the altitude, the airspeed, and
Yeah.
they're talking to air traffic control the whole time.
So it's not just like enjoying the view from up there.
No, not at all.
There's so much going on, even once you reach cruising altitude.
Absolutely. So much happening behind the scenes.
Wow. Okay.
It's not just flying the plane. It's like managing a whole system
Right.
with hundreds of lives depending on you.
Right.
In fact, the source mentions Captain Carter makes an announcement
Oh, yeah.
to the passengers, reassuring them about how the flight's going.
I always appreciate those announcements, actually.
Yeah.
It's comforting,
It is.
Makes you feel like the pilot's keeping you in the loop.
Absolutely.
So it's their job to not just navigate the plane, but also, manage the passengers' expectations.
Exactly.
Keep everyone feeling safe.
Yeah. They need to project this, calm and professional demeanor for the entire flight,
No matter what.
no matter what's happening, yeah.
Okay, speaking of things that could be challenging,
Yeah.
landing a plane seems pretty difficult.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I can barely parallel park.
Uh-huh.
So how do they do it?
Well, landing, it really is a critical phase of flight.
Yes.
It demands like meticulous precision.
I bet.
It's a testament to all their training that they can execute these like complex maneuvers and make it look so easy.
Effortless.
Right. But behind that, the apparent ease
Yeah.
is years of practice.
Oh, wow.
The source mentions the co-pilot actually praises Captain Carter
Oh, nice.
for his super smooth landing at JFK,
Okay.
even though there was a sudden shift in wind direction just before touchdown.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, so they're always on their toes,
That's incredible.
even after a long flight.
So they land the plane safely. What happens? Do they just clock out and go home?
No, not quite.
Okay.
There are still post-flight procedures to complete.
Oh, right.
And then often they need to prepare for a return flight
Oh, wow.
or another journey the next day.
Back to back.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of mental, agility
Oh, absolutely.
to be able to make those split-second decisions
Yeah.
hour after hour.
Yeah, it's a demanding schedule for sure.
It sounds like being a pilot it's not just about flying.
No.
It's about constant vigilance,
Uh-huh.
rigorous checks,
Yeah.
and this, unwavering dedication to safety.
You got it. That's it.
Wow.
And we haven't even talked about the mental fortitude.
Right.
I mean, pilots need to stay calm under pressure,
Right.
make those quick decisions in emergencies,
Yeah.
deal with the stress of long hours and unpredictable situations. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a demanding job.
Oh, yeah, mentally and physically.
So I think it's clear that being a pilot,
Yeah.
it's about a lot more than just enjoying the view from the cockpit.
So much more.
A lot of work, a lot of pressure.
For sure.
Very impressive.
Absolutely.
It's amazing that they can handle it all.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, it really makes you think about all that goes on when you're just sitting in your seat.
Right.
I'm always curious about those announcements they make,
Yeah.
especially the part about all those navigation systems.
Mm-hmm.
What's all that about?
Well, it's not just about using GPS, like in our cars.
Right.
Pilots, they need to understand a whole bunch of systems,
Okay.
things like inertial navigation,
Mm-hmm.
VOR, DME,
Yeah.
all these systems that help them pinpoint their location, even without satellites.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, incredible accuracy.
So it's like they have a sixth sense for where they are.
Pretty much, yeah.
I've also heard they need to stay up to date on all sorts of regulations.
Oh, absolutely.
That must be a lot to keep track of.
It is. The aviation industry is always changing.
Right.
New rules, new technologies.
Right.
Pilots need to be on top of it all.
So it's really a lifelong commitment.
It is to learning and safety.
Wow. So it's not just a job, it's like a lifestyle.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then there's the pressure. They're responsible for hundreds of lives.
It's a huge responsibility.
That's got to be a lot to handle.
You're right. The mental strength it takes is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Not only the daily pressures of flying, but also being ready for emergencies.
Right.
They go through tons of simulations and training
Oh, I bet.
to make sure they can handle anything.
So it's not just about the technical skills.
No, not at all.
It's about staying calm under pressure,
Absolutely.
making the right decisions in seconds.
Exactly.
Wow.
And they have to deal with unruly passengers sometimes too.
Oh, right. I hadn't even thought about that.
That's another challenge.
Wow. So they're not just pilots.
Yeah.
They're like diplomats too.
Uh-huh. In a way, yeah.
Dealing with all kinds of people.
Yeah, managing expectations.
And sometimes even breaking up fights.
Yeah, sometimes they have special training for that.
Wow.
De-escalation and stuff.
That's incredible.
Making sure everyone's safe and comfortable.
So it sounds like they need to be incredibly patient.
You could say that.
With everything you've learned about this job,
Yeah.
what do you think is the biggest thing people misunderstand about pilots?
I think a lot of people, they romanticize the idea of being a pilot,
Yeah.
gliding through the clouds, amazing views.
Right.
But the reality is it's super demanding.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of focus, discipline.
Right.
You got to be resilient.
Definitely not for everyone.
No, not at all.
It's more than just wearing a cool uniform.
Right. So much more.
So what does all this mean for us passengers?
That's a good question.
I think it gives us a new appreciation for what's happening up front.
I agree.
Like the next time I'm on a flight,
Yeah.
I'm going to be thinking about the pilots in a whole different way.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
The next time you're in your seat, just think about everything they do.
Yeah.
All the training, the constant focus,
Right.
the commitment to
To
safety.
get you where you're going.
It's amazing, really.
It really is.
These highly skilled professionals.
And it makes you realize how important it is to respect them.
For sure.
They're not just serving drinks. They're keeping us safe.
Exactly.
So before we move on,
Yeah.
let's sum up what we've learned about commercial airline pilots.
Okay.
It's a lot more than just flying.
Uh-huh.
It's about early mornings, constant vigilance,
Yeah.
lots of checks,
Right.
and this deep understanding of how flying works.
It's both an art and a science.
And they always put safety first.
Always.
From those pre-flight inspections to talking to air traffic control.
Right.
They have to know all the latest technology.
Yeah.
But also the old school skills. They need incredible mental strength
They do.
to deal with long hours, tough situations, and the responsibility of so many people's lives.
It's remarkable.
They're the unsung heroes of the skies.
Absolutely. A unique blend of skills.
Yeah.
Technical, emotional, total dedication.
It's amazing to think about everything that goes into getting us from point A to point B.
So much happens behind the scenes.
So knowing all this, how do you think this changes your view of flying?
Interesting question.
Will you think about the pilots differently next time?
Maybe.
Maybe even, like, strike up a conversation with them.
Uh-huh. Could happen.
Maybe you'll pay more attention to those announcements
Right.
or appreciate that smooth landing even more.
Yeah. Or maybe you'll even want to learn more about aviation.
There's so much to discover.
There is, for sure.
It's not just about the destination. It's about the journey.
Absolutely.
And maybe this has inspired some future pilots out there.
You never know.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
it really changes your whole perspective.
Yeah, they do so much.
Right.
We really do take it for granted sometimes.
For sure.
But they connect people and cultures
Absolutely.
all across the world.
And it's not just about, like, getting from one place to another.
No.
It's the science, the skill.
It's incredible.
It's amazing, the human element.
It's fascinating to me, that balance between the technology and the human.
Oh, yeah.
You have these super advanced aircraft.
Right.
But ultimately, it's a human making those big decisions.
That's a really good point.
It's a reminder that even with all the automation we have,
Right.
we still need that human expertise.
Absolutely. Human judgment.
Yeah.
Can't replace that.
And it's not just about reacting to things.
Yeah.
It's about anticipating, thinking ahead,
Right.
being ready for the unexpected.
Always staying one step ahead.
Exactly.
Speaking of unexpected,
Uh-huh.
did you know there's actually a ton of stuff online
Oh, yeah.
where you can learn about pilot training, aircraft technology,
That's cool.
even the history of flight?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a total rabbit hole.
I bet.
So much to explore.
Yeah. Have you seen any good documentaries?
Oh, yeah, tons of great documentaries and podcasts, too.
Nice.
Even simulators
Wow.
where you can, like, try flying a plane.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
We'll have to check those out.
But even if you don't want to be a pilot,
Right.
I think this deep dive has shown us
Yeah.
the dedication, the skill,
Absolutely.
the responsibility
Yeah.
that goes into every single flight.
It's true. We should be grateful
We really should.
for those amazing pilots.
They make it all possible.
They do.
Well said. And on that note,
Yeah.
I think we've reached the end
The end of our journey
of our deep dive.
into the life of a commercial airline pilot
We hope you've enjoyed it.
and learned some new things.
Until next time,
Keep exploring
keep questioning.
and keep diving deep.